going to be the 2023 Indian Wells race recap. Try to keep it short and sweet. I think this was my 11th race of the 2023 season. Last year I raced 11 times. Yeah, this was my 11th race. Raced 11 times last year. This concludes 2 full years as a professional long course triathlete. So that's pretty insane. And yeah, so we're just gonna, I guess, run through the race real quick. We're currently driving back to Tucson, Arizona. We slept in a little bit, but I had to get on the road quite early, so we got to take Cyrus back home, or back to Phoenix Airport on our way to Tucson by a certain time, because he's got to catch a flight, so we weren't able to film this in the morning. So anyway, we're doing it driving, but hopefully it's still decent. So I guess, yeah, Soph's in the back seat, Cyrus is in the front seat. They're going to try to keep me on task because I'm like a little squirrel. I'm all over the place. So yeah, here we go. Let's see. Yeah, woke up in the morning, was feeling pretty nervous. Literally told Soph, I was like, man, I'm pretty nervous for this. I don't know why. I didn't have any expectations. I didn't really have any goals. I just wanted to, I think my only goal for this race was, like, I wanted to feel strong. This year was a big year of learning, testing new training philosophies, testing new training partners, all things, like being coach, being not coach, living in the desert, racing at a high level. There was so many news. Like, I was out of college, I was away from Sophie, and Sophie was then with me. Like, there was so much change in my life this year for the better. But obviously, new stimuluses come with added stress and burning of energy, and yeah, just so yeah, it was a big year of learning, and I think it definitely took a toll on me more than I had thought. But I think this year will be a very pivotal year in my career, as like setting me up, right? Like, I really tried to race a bunch to get my name out there. I tried to get some results in some big races. I tried to win a few races. I got a few podiums. I really tried hard on the Instagram and the YouTube, and I surrounded myself with great athletes like Sam or Lionel or Reed or Ben. Great coaches like Wes and Justin and Lionel, and just always trying to learn and better myself, because like I said, it's just only 2 years within triathlon. So I don't know, like I know what I'm doing from like a training, like a scientific standpoint, like that, like structuring the training and stuff, like as I coach Soph and other athletes. But like for myself, I think it's so hard to coach yourself and see the big picture. So anyway, yeah, it's a very pivotal year. I think this year is going to set up, hopefully my next few years in my career from a sponsorship standpoint, brand standpoint, racing IQ, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, anyway, end of the race, really cold swim, 58 degrees, didn't feel too bad. Wetsuit swim, got out, was instantly, started wide left, right behind Casper, the eventual winner of the race, and uber swimmer, but common world-class triathlete. I mean, great across swim, bike, run, but front pack swimmer. Got in his quote-unquote feet for about 5 seconds, and then I kind of veered left, lined up pretty far left, and I think everyone else went right. And yeah, I was just instantly by myself. I think I don't have great awareness in the water of what's going on. I think this is because I'm still so new to things, and I'm obviously struggling so hard to focus on the swimming. So I'm like trying to swim, and I'm trying to focus on who's around me, and I'm also trying not to get my head beat in. All these things, right? So yeah, I think the peloton moved right, I moved left, and I was just kind of by myself. Unfortunately, I saw a pack of guys, 5 seconds ahead of me, and I was just like trying to get there, and I just never got there. And I think eventually that was probably the Sam Lone, Robbie Decker group, like the 25 high group. and probably Ari Clow and those guys were in there as well. So 26 mid, 26 high, and I just missed it. And then it was in no man's land basically. So the whole swim basically is an individual time trial, and also didn't feel great in the wetsuit. I think I maybe need to size down the wetsuit and just get more practice in the wetsuit. I think that's something Sam does really well from observing him. He does, a good bit of sessions in the wetsuit leading into a wetsuit race. I think my arms are just so weak. It's demanding to swim in the wetsuit, so I think I need to practice that more. And yeah, so anyway, got out of the swim. I was like 5 minutes down. I mean, it's pretty bad. Pretty much all year I've been about 4 minutes down. I think St. George I was 4 minutes down, Michigan I was 4 minutes down, Oceanside I was 4 minutes down. Those were all the good swimmers. Mark Dubrick, the Cal swimmer, Harper I think is his last name, and I mean, good swimmers, right? So yeah, I just lost an extra minute that I shouldn't have lost. I was hoping for 3 minutes down. Well, I was just hoping to do my best, but 3 minutes down would have been great. It was 5 minutes down. The normal's 4, so that was oh well. Got out, took off the wetsuit, ran to my bike. I think my mom and sister told me I was 38th place or something. I mean, I was buried pretty far back, which I figured. I knew the swim. Knew this race was very swim dominant and just good triathlete dominant. It was great racers in the race. So pretty much expected. I think I said I was a few minutes behind Sam, and whatever, expected, I guess. And yeah, just got on the bike. Always staying positive. Sometimes when that happens, it's so easy just to bury your head in your helmet and throw a pity party for yourself and be embarrassed and feel like a fucking bag of shit. But I think I handled it pretty well. I just said, let's just. I told Lionel the night before the race. Probably have the clip. I was like, he asked me how I'm doing. I said, I'm doing okay. And I said, how about you? And he said, I'm pumped. I'm ready to smash the bike tomorrow. And he said, and I said, oh man, I wish I could do that. And he goes, you can. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. So I got on the bike and I started smashing the bike too. And so I was, like I usually always do, just throw caution in the wind, no power goal, no speed goal, just basically bike about as hard as you can for about 2 hours. And it's different now, because when I used to do that, I would pass people, no one would really know. But now when I pass people, I'm not going to name names, but they try to get on my wheel so bad, and there's not refs in the back. I mean, you're in 40th place, you're competing for nothing back there. There's no refs back there. And so I pass these guys, especially this one guy in particular. They draft me illegally so hard. So I'm doing like 420 watts to like drop these guys. It's just so dumb. Anyway, that's aggravating. So that's just something to remember too, because I pass some of the people and they hop on, and I'm like, well, I don't want to give people a free ride, right? Especially if you're a good runner, or even if you're not even going to help me. You're not even going to take a pull in the race. So anyway, started passing people decently quick. Made the U-turn around 10 miles into the race. Got a time gap to the front of the race, and I think I saw Kyle and Zach, and they gave me an updated split. I was like into the top 30 at that point. Started passing people quite quickly at that point. Found myself in the top 20. Made the U-turn at the far end of the course, about halfway in. I was moving really quickly. I was feeling good. And usually for me, the first 20 minutes of the bike, takes me a while to get going. I need to practice that more. I need to get on the bike and be firing all cylinders immediately. It takes me 10 to 25 minutes to really get going sometimes. So usually my middle hour, I'm steamrolling. That's kind of how it was this time. And I was also getting back into the race, right? I was moving into the top 25 to the top 20, so I was catching fire, pushing good watts. I mean, I was biking like freaking 32 miles per hour. I was rolling. So I felt great. Then we hit the racetrack section. It's about like 35 miles into the race, about 80 minutes in. Then you can see the whole race dynamics playing on there, because it's like a 8K loop, 5 miles of this closed course race course section. Literally just it's where like luxury cars, private owners just like test their Lambos, Ferraris, McLarens around this little neighborhood loop. So you can see the whole dynamic of the race going on. You can see the front of the race, back of the race, middle of the race. So I was kind of scouting where I was. I think I was about to break into the top 15 in that scenario. I think I was sitting like 18th place, and I saw the group with like Metzler and Lauren Nelson and stuff like that. So I figured I was getting decently close to the front of the race because those guys are pretty good swimmers. And took the first turn, my aero bottle fell out of my bike around 80 minutes. Nutrition strategy was 2 bottles of Infinite Nutrition, 120 carbs in each. Obviously drank the first bottle the first hour. The aero bottle had another 120 carbs, but again I drink it and space it out for the whole 60 minutes, right? The last hour. So that popped out 20 minutes into the second hour. So I had probably 95 carbs in there still. So that stunk. Lost that. So then I was basically going dark the last 0 calories, 0 carbs the last 40 minutes of the bike. I had 1 backup gel on the bike. So yeah, anyway, that really stunk. Tried to stay positive. Thought about for a second stopping to get it. You would hemorrhage way too much time. So yeah, put the head down. Ended up passing the Metzler group right when we got out of the racetrack section. Could see in the distance a few other people. And then, but at that point too, I think we were about 42 miles into the bike. Then at that point, I was starting to get tired. Muscle wise, I mean, I had only done less than a handful of bike workouts, and that was obviously by design. We were really training to swim and stuff like that, and we were just kind of in a base mode, right? This is the beginning of my season, so I think my muscles were just getting quite tired. It's low on carbs. I was getting a little fuzzy in the head, so I was just really trying to focus the last 20 minutes or so, just like, oh man, like come on, let's keep pushing power, keep the head down, like don't get sloppy. Ended up getting to the dismount line. I think I biked 2 flat, like 2 hours, 0 minutes, 7 seconds. Third fastest bike of the day. I think that broke the original bike course record. Not that matters, but I think Lionel had biked 2 hours flat in 30 seconds, so I knew I was biking decent. I think Laundry was 159, 58 or something along those lines, and I think Sam was 158.50 or something. So I biked well. Obviously, when you can bike within about a minute of Sam Long, I think you're going in the right direction. And I did that whole bike solo, and Sam did too. But yeah, so I felt fine. Like I was happy with the bike split. Got myself in contention. I think you told me getting off the bike I was in about like 12th place or so. Long, about 100-yard run to when you dismount the bike to where you rack the bike, and it's not good to do this, but obviously as an athlete, you get off the bike, you're running with your bike, you're going through all these checklists in your head, like, oh, how do I feel? How does the legs feel? How do the quads feel? And I was going through this whole checklist in my head, and I'm like, oh wow, I feel like dog shit right now. I'm in pieces. The legs are just like shot. I rack my bike. As I'm racking my bike, I see Matt Sharp, Ben Canute. I think they were in like 11th and 10th. I think they're in 10th and 9th. I think 10th and 9th or 9th and 8th, something along those lines. It was basically a top 10 situation, and so I racked my bike. They left. I was super slow to move through transition. I mean, I think my mom was standing on the fence, and she was giving me information, and I mean, my legs were so like I just wasn't, obviously no carbs, stuff like that. I think I was in such a rough, dark moment. I just really took my time. I just emptied the bag, took a deep breath, and I just really was methodical through T2 and just took my time because I just wanted to lower my heart rate. I wanted to collect my thoughts. I knew obviously I had to run 13.1 miles, so I, just like give yourself 10 extra seconds, dude. Just relax. So yeah, did that. Got into the run, clipped on the race belt, had the gels, quick sip of water, and I just told myself, I don't feel great, but let's go catch Canute, right? I think he's in 8th place, top 8 get paid. I was like, make it a goal. Let's get to Canute. Let's race with Canute. He's obviously a world-class athlete. So yeah, caught up, past Matt Sharp, said, hey, let's go to work. And he said, all right, let's catch Canute. We worked together for a few minutes. I think Sharp was just kind of, he was in rough shape a little bit, and it was a hard course to keep momentum on, and I was really trying to push the downhills to take what was mine on there, because I'm a decent downhill runner, and I was just, you know, trying to spin the legs. Caught up to Canute around 5K, I think, about 3 miles. Didn't really say anything to him, and trying to put in a little bit of a move, I think, just to maybe see how he was feeling and get a little bit of separation, and he kind of went with me, and then I think he ended up falling off a few minutes later. And then yeah, I think I got into 8th place at that point. I was decently, you know, happy with that. I said, all right, let's try to run, you know, 5:30s or so. The run course is very demanding for those who did it or want to know what it is. It's the majority of the race, I think like 7-8 miles of the whole run of 13 miles is done in a golf course, on the golf cart path on the sidewalk. You're twisting, turning, up, down, and then you go like sharp U-turns on the sidewalk into an aid station, and then down a grass hill, and then you go up like a 200-meter hill in loose sand. I mean, very cross-country type run, very demanding. So honestly, really wasn't even looking at pace. I was just like effort. Big Nick Saban fan. He's telling his guys all the time, relentless effort. That's what I was trying to give. Relentless effort the whole time, while not trying to blow up. So I was actually feeling pretty strong. I got to the halfway point. It's a 2-loop course, so about 6.5 miles in. Saw my mom, told me I was in 7th place, and yeah, got back out there. Started running with some age grouper. Started running with me. I don't know his name, but I asked him, I was like, are you a pro? And he's like, no, I'm age grouper. I was like, okay, because I didn't know if I needed to like race this guy or not. And told me he was an age grouper. We ran like side by side for like 3-4 miles together. It was great, fantastic. Ended up not even knowing at the time. I was in 7th place. I knew that. I think there was Sebastian, I think was the young man's name, of the guy who was in 6th. I passed him with like 2K to go. I like looking back, I remember when I passed him, but I remember passing this guy, and he was running. He was in like a gray Surpass kit, looked super pro, but I was like, oh, no way he's a pro. But I didn't glance at his number belt to see what number he was. And that was the 6th position, so I moved into 6th, and yeah, just finished at home. Saw Jackson Laundry about a minute ahead, knew I probably wasn't going to catch him, and yeah, I just tried to finish strong all the way to the line. Ran a 1:11:30, I think. It was the 3rd fastest run of the day, right? I think Casper outran me by about 50 seconds. Mark Dubrick outran me by 1 second, and I was the 3rd fastest run. Casper and Mark are world-class runners, so it was great to be in the conversation of running with them. So we ended up crossing the finish line, and what was my time? 3:43 low, I think.
Yeah.
So a 2-minute, I think a little over a 2-minute improvement from 2 years ago race. Basically a massive chunk of that improvement was in the bike, a regression in the swim and the run, but I'm working in those 2 departments to obviously swim better and run better. So yeah, great. I think, like I said, my coach really didn't want, Coach West, he didn't really want me to race this race. I wanted to race this race because I took my 3-week off season. I mean, it was a pretty heavy off season. You know, I think I took like 10 days off the bike, 10 days out of the, like, not swimming, 10 days not running. Like, it's pretty heavy. But I think I didn't want to go so long without racing again, right? I think my next race will be Oceanside 70.3 on April 6th. And that's going to be a pretty massive race, right? Over 100 people on that start list. First race of the Ironman Pro Series. I mean, it's going to be this race times 3 in every department. Competitiveness, depth of field, whole 9 yards. It's going to be nuts. So I think I just wanted to, I trained with Wes for about 3 to 4 weeks. I wanted to go get a check mark where I was off of some, base training, see how it went. I wanted Wes to see some of my data, and I think it worked well, because also too, I just, like, this year, I haven't felt strong all year. I felt like a shell of myself all year racing. Like, when I was running or biking or like racing, I was like, man, I cannot wait to be done with the race. Like, I just felt weak. And yesterday was the first day I finally felt strong. I felt racing. Like, I think my first mile was like 5:30, and my last mile was 5:30. Like, there was no lull in the run. Like, I felt strong. I need to get fitter, and I need to get faster on the run to run faster. Obviously, you need to get stronger in the bike so that you can bike a little faster and it doesn't take as much out of you, and you swim better so that you're closer to the front of the race and you're in contention to ride with stronger riders. I know all that. I'm working on it. So yeah, I think this was, I'm happy that I can have this checkpoint of like, wow, okay, I felt strong. I felt actually competitive in the race. I felt like happy. I felt like I actually wanted to race. Like, 'cause all year I've just wanted to like have a semi truck run out in front of me during the run and run me over. It's like, wow, I am obliterated right now. I think like that semi driving by, like, just run me over right now, please, because I do not want to be here. I finally felt strong. That was a good feeling. I think it's a good feeling to finish the race feeling strong, fit, and that I can actually complete 70.3 miles rather than surviving 70.3 miles. Like, Augusta 70.3 for myself, like Lionel, I don't want to speak for him, but like, we were like surviving and not competing for anything. It's a terrible feeling. Congrats obviously to Casper, Mark, and Sam. Phenomenal race up there. And yeah, like I said, I think my next race, or I know my next race, will be 70.3 Oceanside. And this next year was the Ironman Pro Series. I think a lot of those Pro Series races are going to be off the charts competitive, off the charts with the depth of field. I mean, 100 plus athletes in those races. So yeah, you've got, I think 16 weeks to figure out your shit to get ready to race the world-class people in Oceanside, California in April. So with that being said, yeah, it's end of 2023, beginning of 2024 for me. Fired up, ready to go. This, I want to say just thank you to, I had a lot of people cheer me on the course, like other athletes that were racing, which is very kind. I was not in a state of mind to say good job back, but I really appreciate it. A lot of people coming up to me before the race, after the race, really means a lot. Thank you. All the love on the YouTube and Instagram, all the DMs, all the comments, it really means a lot. And I think just a shout out to the brands that have supported me this year, with that being like Saj at Barlow and the team Barlow there, like, thank you. Thank you to Christian and the Infinite team. It's been a fantastic year. Thank you to Jordan and the DeBoer team, Chris and Rudy Project, and thank you to Byron, who's helped me out every week on physio work, based out of Tucson. And thanks to Soph, she moved out to Tucson for me, and yeah, it's home now. And Cyrus being part of the team, documenting this journey is amazing. I'm really thankful for him. And last, obviously, I'm over the moon. Thank you to Lionel and Aaron, who have provided so much for me, taught me so much, and it's just been an honor to train with Lionel and to learn from him. And yeah, he's just had open arms with teaching me, providing advice, everything. So I think that has accelerated my career by years, and I'm something that I will be forever grateful for, because I think it has helped me tremendously. So thank you so much to them and their family. And yeah, so thanks to everybody who's watched this year. We're new to this whole YouTube thing. At first I was quite nervous, and it's quite cringe, and it's hard to get talking to the camera. I think I'm getting a lot better at it now. Obviously, pretty loud person anyway, I think. Well, not loud, but like I can talk. But I have coffee, so I'm pretty caffeinated right now, so I think that's why I'm like talking decently well. It's definitely one of my better interviews. Yeah, we're gonna keep it going. I think Cyrus is on the team at least for next year. Hopefully we got him signed for one more year on the roster. I think Sam's trying to sign you too, which is okay. But yeah, so I think it's been a great year. Thank you again to everybody who supports Chasing the Dream. Big things in store for the coming months of, you know, brands, sponsors, races, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. If you have any questions, DM me, email me, whatever. Thanks again, and let's go attack 2024.